If for the Dawn of War 2 players out there, I describe it kind of like a Mana Core, but hell, it's so much cooler than a Mana Core. Mana Cores have no hit points and can't really do anything on their own. Calliopes are awesome. Anyhow, no offense to the Imperial Guard players out there. But we can see now that Sherman tank now driving all the way to the north here. We've got a single Sherman, single Calliope, and a bunch of infantry is pretty much all that Ponti has on the board right now, and he's doing a pretty good job at using it here. The Calliope will really, really punish an infantry army that clumps up and makes its presence well known. Whatever happened down here damaged the engine of that stew a little bit. You can see he's backing away for the time being. Could it have been a landmine? Who knows exactly. Hard to tell. Taking a look, we can see our Calliope kind of moving into the action a little bit more here. Calliope considering some shots here, perhaps. You never know. He can, I believe, get a second Calliope in if he saves up the munitions again, but then that's all that he can have. The Stew is kind of looking for some shots here. The Stew taking some shots. Kaboom! Oh, so beautiful looking. I love it because it's not like a big fiery explosion. It's just dirt. It's exactly what you think you'd see. And here we have, once again, the Calliope wrecking some terrain and wrecking some German faces as well, putting all of this pressure on these gentlemen here who were trying to cap that point. They revealed themselves, but we can see the Stew again firing point blank into stuff right in front of itself. Not having a lot of luck here. We just saw an upgrade go up for the Shermans. Shermans have this long barrel upgrade now. Basically, it slows their rate of fire, but they do better damage versus vehicles. Now we have a nice-looking flamethrower flank here, too. That's always kind of a ballsy move because these guys are looking kind of wounded here. I would definitely retreat this first gentleman, but man, that's looking fantastic. Gonna retreat away. Whoops, he got a face full of... I guess he's fine, though. He got a face full of howitzer, but no problem there. And now we can see this long barrel upgraded Sherman is just going to have nothing but rear armor shots on this poor Stew. Poor Stew looking rather embarrassed here, trying his best to get away, but unfortunately his engine is damaged. No, poor Stew driving away, and that's that. But the Sherman tank also not immune to damage, going to be taking a few front armor shots from double packs down here. Really has to be careful. Oh no, and he too is out of control. Oh, lost really nice ordnance instead. But you always got to watch out. This is just a firing squad of anti-tank guns down here, so very important to keep track of those. However, during all of that exchange here, it looks like he does have a second. He did pick up a second Sherman at some point. And he has capped the northern and the middle victory points out there. So map control has gone back to Ponti for the time being. And Ponti now being set upon by a whole bunch of Panzerschreck wielding maniacs here. Oh, that just makes me miss Panzerschreck Johann. For anyone who is a fan of my original Company of Heroes Online cast, he was one of my favorite Panzerschreck wielding maniacs. Oh well, may he rest in peace. Beautiful looking flank though, again, just trying to give him two weaknesses to worry about. Those units alone charging up and threatening this Calliope, that was a bad situation, but suddenly just introducing a Sherman from behind is going to make him just have to retreat instantly. He can't deal with that many threats at the same time. Continually waging the passive-aggressive war. Always be aware of the entire chessboard. I like to say that in Company of Heroes, your micro is all of the fighting that you do on the battlefield, but your macro is this kind of stuff, just kind of capping constantly. So always have your macro in mind. Whereas like in StarCraft or something like that, your macro is like you need to be like expanding and building new buildings and making sure your economy is working really well. I heard a Calliope. Where's a Calliope? There's a Calliope. Taking out part of this awkward building here and also wrecking lots of Germans here. But yeah, your macro in this game has to be constantly capping. Always be capping, the ABCs of Company of Heroes. Anyhow, now we've got some serious looking armor on the field right now because we have double Calliopes out there. Right now. So double Calliopes is just like the real death nail for a lot of German players. They really have to worry about that because it's a lot of fire support. It's highly mobile. It's kind of hard to pin down, especially if he's defending it really well using things like Shermans and lots of infantry and that sort of thing. So with all that being said, let me swap once again back to Sens' point of view, make sure we adequately represent his position in this battle and see where he's at. He's got great defense over the southern point right here, but he's really struggling to grab the central point, and at best it seems like he's kind of ninja capping this stuff up here on the top, but he's not really getting any long-lasting control over it. We can see here piles of German bodies, Sherman tank. I can pretty much figure out what happened with that exchange. Down here towards the middle, we can see, is that a sniper once again? Do we still have a sniper out here? Where is this gentleman? This sniper has just been, snipers love being out in the middle of no man's land because nobody else wants to go out there. And so whenever anyone gets the courage to come out and try and capture something in no man's land, they start getting sniped right away. It's very demoralizing. I mean, both for the people getting sniped and also for the player controlling them. We can see once again trying his best to kind of put some pressure on this central victory point, which he really needs to control at this point in the game if he wants to stay in there. But just being chased away by flamethrowers and Sherman tanks, all good things to run away from. Although, you know, Vet 2 Grenadiers, by the way, tough as nails. As I mentioned before, he does have the Kampfkraft Center, which lets him vet up his troops and tanks and whatnot. Stun bombs completely ignored by Ponti. And he's just going to have to get out of there right now. Oh, there's the double grenade right there, doing some pretty good damage. And now I hear a Calliope. I hear the, yes, terrific destruction out there. Apparently, he had a pretty good idea that that's where the anti-tank gun was. Again, whenever you have nice mobile artillery, just go ahead and use it on positions that you know have immobile defenses. So apparently he saw that anti-tank gun and wrecked it right there. So here we go, again, continuing to skirmish around. Calliope coming down here, providing some support. Once again, the Calliope taking out the second anti-tank gun, taking out the gun itself. So that is no longer usable even. The allies, it looks like, while that was going on, had to retreat from this position for the time being. But pretty good so far. Taking out double packs is going to be a real problem. But, oh, we can see he went ahead and he has spent his points finally. He has the Armored Assault Force, which is like the final tier basically for the Blitzkrieg. And that's going to give him access to the Tiger. The Tiger, massive tank out there. I always like the fact that the tanks in Company of Heroes were a little bit lopsided. Like, the Allied tanks just always kind of are worse than the German tanks, but they have their strengths and numbers and stuff like that. But it feels like real life in the sense that, yeah, Germans just had better tanks in World War II. We had to deal with it. We, of course, I'm American, you know, blah, blah, blah. Anyhow, Vet 3 Sherman tank, that is a serious problem. Again, for Dawn of War 2 players out there, veterancy for Allies tends to be a lot better, but they don't get it. They can't upgrade it. So the Germans can just spend money and upgrade all of their troops with their veterancy. And here we have that beautiful Tiger. But the Allies only get their veterancy through combat experience, much like in Dawn of War 2. So you just have to actually go out there and fight for it. So getting level 3 is the top veterancy here. And here we have, once again, oh, the Calliope was actually shooting just for those Grenadiers, but happened to get a bunch of lucky shots right now on that Tiger. Again, Calliope is not the most effective thing against Tigers, but I mean, hell, it's free damage and it does pretty well. We can see here, it looks like he's gone ahead and activated the Allied War Machine right now. You can see that spinning gear graphic over there. And the Allied War Machine, basically, whenever anybody gets destroyed, whenever any tanks go down, they are instantly replaced. So you can see this tank, whoop, right back there. That's a free tank he just got from Allied War Machine. And I think he actually, knowing that the Germans kind of stopped firing at it, he intentionally drove it into his own Calliope just to make sure he lost it, because he gets a full hit point tank back. Unfortunately, though, that does not replace the veterancy, so he did lose that Vet 3 Sherman. So these are now just 2 Vet 0 Shermans out there right now. But the 2 Shermans having to deal with this Tiger, really outmaneuvering. The Tiger hasn't managed to get too many shots yet. You can see it's kind of having trouble choosing between targets. Having 2 different long barrel upgrade Shermans pursuing you from behind. Really bad news. Pretty much any shot they get on you is going to be a rear armor shot. Now, oh no, damaged engine. Continuing being hunt. It looks like Ponti doesn't even have time to readjust here. He's just going to follow in reverse, even if it means that one of his tanks, both of his tanks, have rear armor exposed. That's not too good, but just continue to take shots. A massive shot finally on the Sherman right there, bouncing a shot off of the rear armor. The Tiger trying its best. You can see the Panzer Shreks now coming in, putting some damage, and we have an out-of-control Tiger there, just crashing and burning on the field. Looks like the Vet 1 is going to go to this tank here that took care of it. We can hear Sens complaining about a bug, but honestly, you know, a lot of people like to look for excuses, but really, the root cause of that problem, regardless of any minor control glitches, had to do with the fact that you had 2 long barrel Shermans pursuing your rear armor. And now, just to kind of drive that thing's carcass into the hillside, smoting his ruin upon the mountainside, we can see that the Calliope is just going to shoot it. Apparently, he thought that maybe the infantry were going to continue pushing and just made a called shot there. That unfortunately didn't work out. But so that's a big blow right there to Sens, losing his Tiger. He really needed that to be a presence on the field, and unfortunately, he got a little gung-ho, charged in with it, and just all of these Sherman and Sherman-like things were able to take care of it. We can see 1 Calliope way down in his base, 1 Calliope nice back here. He's got a pretty good field of fire over this entire map. And really, he only needs to hold on to 2 victory points. Kind of late game, unless you have some sort of massive, overwhelming victory. You can see it's nothing wrong with trying to snipe out a victory point here. Speaking of sniping out a victory point, there's a sniper. Nothing wrong with that. And the Calliope, oh god, the Calliope completely taking out that sniper. Apparently, he lost a single squad member there to a sniper shot and said, okay, sure, we'll take it out with with Calliope Barrage. Why not? So these gentlemen here are just going to kind of pick off at this victory point. Probably not cap it, just decap it. So resetting the score back to 1-0 right now for Ponti. We can see that Sens right now trying to go in, capping these points. He has a lot of Grenadiers on the field, which is a great thing to have versus a bunch of Shermans. But unfortunately, he's just not having quite the luck with it. He keeps his Grenadiers seem to constantly be on the receiving end of Calliope barrages and whatnot. I'm going to go ahead and swap back to Ponti once again here and just kind of keep track and see what he's bought. Ooh, he has bought field repairs so far. So field repairs, again, there are similar abilities in Dawn of War, but this will basically just repair vehicles out there. I believe Tech Marine has stuff like that. So it looks like our Shermans are on the field right now. Again, skirmishing away with these little Panzerschreck wielding maniacs here. They are Vet 2, but Shermans are notoriously good at dealing with infantry. They just happen to have a nice shot. Unfortunately, having the long barrel upgrade does reduce their rate of fire. So they're going to be a little less effective versus infantry, but they still do the same damage whenever the shot lands. So you can see this guy is just trying his best to retreat away, and no! Completely blown up by that Panzerschreck. So yes, these Grenadiers are able to pay for themselves here, and that's looking pretty good for the time being. So we do have double Calliopes hanging out here. The one Sherman is out there right now. It is Vet 2. So we're going to be moving up here. And once again, we have another Tiger on the battlefield right now. All of these guys have to just kind of skate away from that thing. I'm not going to get too much done. And we have a Calliope. Calliope opting instead to shoot at the building. Oh, it's that time again, is it? Whenever you see a lot of troops retreating back into your opponent's base and you have Calliopes, start shooting the base. That puts a countdown clock on the battlefield pretty quick there. It pretty much means they have to deal with their Calliopes at some point. I have no idea what this guy's doing. He's setting up a machine gun. Oh, well. Oh, God, we have a Pershing out there. And once again, the Calliope just putting the clock on this, on poor Sens here, is going to just go ahead and Calliope the whole base. If everybody retreats to the base, Calliope it into the ground, you'll hit them while they're resupplying. And if you do that throughout the game long enough, eventually you will just start wrecking their buildings and everything like that. I'm going to swap right over here to Sens here because it looks like, yes, he has activated Blitzkrieg. That's going to speed up his vehicles quite a bit. You can see the Tiger realizing he's quite cornered here by this. You can see he even gets Heavy Crush. I think he had Heavy Crush to begin with, but you get that from Blitzkrieg. Just driving down that entire row of hedges there. But the Pershing recently came out on the battlefield right now. That is the super heavy tank available to the armor commander only. And it's a pretty awesome tank out there. It's not quite as strong as some of the German tanks, but definitely with the correct backup, it's pretty phenomenal. You can see auto repairs going on the field right now. You can see everybody getting repaired right now. The M10 tank destroyer on the field combined with the Pershing. These guys are just going to do a phenomenally good job here. Oh, unfortunately, the Sherman gets taken out by a combination of fire there. But unfortunately, the Tiger is looking so bad. And oh my God, look at this. We have more Calliope shots landing all around here. Again, the Calliope just really precise control over that Calliope. It practically hit some of these troops on the ground without even touching his own vehicles here, and doing some damage to the front of his base. Unfortunately, at this point in the game, there's little else Sens can do right now. The Allied war machine has just poured through the front right now. We can see Vet 2 on the Pershing. Calliopes right now are threatening just to level his base on the ground. Base destruction is a real possibility at this point in the game. Calliope is just kind of firing all in, and we have a good game by Sens. Oh, and just one more Manor Calliope barrage right into the center of that building here, just to make sure that message was properly received. So good game, good Calliope usage as always. I do love Calliopes. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, I am Harlequin. I hope you enjoyed this cast. I will be visiting Company of Heroes more and more frequently. Please, if you see good games out there, feel free to submit them to me. Otherwise, follow me on Twitter so that you know when I have new videos out there, or subscribe here too. Both of those are, or both, hey, why not? Good ways to find out when I have new videos. Otherwise, until next time, ladies and gentlemen, good night, good game, good luck.